All right, here's the bracket for the remainder of the CONCACAF Nations League. Canada playing for the first time since November the 19th when they beat Suriname 3-0 at BMO. They'll play Mexico Thursday, 10:30 Eastern at SoFi in Los Angeles in the semifinal. And it's time to chat with the voice of soccer on TSN. It's Luke Wileman. Great to see you, buddy. Getting ready for that CONCACAF Nations League semifinal on Thursday. Here's the amazing thing to me, Luke, something I never thought would happen in my lifetime. Canada is apparently favored over Mexico. I'm saying those words out loud. I don't know if I believe them. Did the odds makers get it right?
I think they might have, and there are a couple of reasons for that. And one of them is that this Mexico team is not the same Mexico team of the past where they have been a juggernaut in this region. They have had their own struggles. They've changed coaches. The fans have fallen out with them. So even though they'll probably have a very pro-Mexico crowd on Thursday, it won't be quite the same as it was in the past. And then there's the Canadian side of things, which is that the gap has been closed dramatically over the last few years. No more so than in World Cup qualifying when Canada had that great win in Edmonton, went into Mexico and managed to get a draw as well. Last time they played, it was a tie between these two teams. So there isn't really any distinguishable gap in terms of the past performances. And of course, coming out of Copa America last summer, where Canada got the furthest of any of the CONCACAF teams, they have that confidence heading in. They've got the quality. Absolutely, Canada can beat Mexico and get to the final of the Nations League, and good on the bookmakers for recognizing that.
It's wonderful. Jorge Campos isn't coming out of retirement anytime soon. The CONCACAF Nations League, it might not be the World Cup, it might not be the Gold Cup, it might not be Copa America, but if Canada were to actually win this tournament, what would it mean in your mind? Well,
it's not the World Cup or Copa America in terms of its size and stature, but this year it is more important for Canada than the Gold Cup. Jesse Marsch will have his full squad available for this tournament. When it comes to the Gold Cup, it's at the same time this summer as the FIFA Club World Cup. Some of the star players won't be available for the Gold Cup. So really, this is the biggest opportunity this year in terms of the size of a trophy to be able to lift. Even though it's just a couple of games right now at this point, you're playing against Mexico, and then probably, if you get through, it's against the US in the final, which would be quite a showdown. But right now, you look at this chance for Canada for the first time since 2000 when they won the Gold Cup, to win something on a big scale in this CONCACAF region. And when you look at the stepping stones that Jesse Marsch has taken with this team, getting all the way to the semi-final, having a way of playing that's very distinct, getting all the players buying in, everybody enjoying what they see from this team. It looks a distinctly Canadian vibe to this group of players, what they want to do for the country. The next thing is to get to the final. For the experience, not even looking forward to the World Cup, the experience of getting through knockout round games, a final would be huge. Then the next step is, of course, winning something, which hasn't been done for almost 25 years. So it would be a huge statement if Jesse Marsch can get this team to win the Nations League here.
And to your point, this team has improved so much, we have too many good players. Like, we have two keepers that could potentially start for us, and we have one in Max Klepo, who is so great in Copa America for Canada, but might not get the start on Thursday. Might be Dane St. Clair. Do you think that's the right decision?
Yeah, I don't think Maxime Crépeau will get the start, and I think it comes down to his club form right now. He hasn't been playing for Portland Timbers. In fact, it's been another Canadian, James Pantemis, who used to play for Montreal, who's been ahead of Maxime Crépeau, who has had his injury issues as well. He was great in Copa America, and there's always this balance between, you know, when you're an international manager, do you go on, what have you done for me at the country level, or what are you doing right now for your club? Are you in form? And different managers look at it in different ways. And I think right now Jesse Marsch has made it clear that probably Dane St. Clair, because he's playing those games, is in pole position. Maxime Crépeau just hasn't had the experience so far. It's a big call. It's probably one of those positions right now where, yes, Jesse Marsch could go either way, but I do think he'll go with Dane St. Clair on Thursday.
And now we have a couple of new faces, Luke, and this is exciting. So it's Daniel Jebison, who represented England as a youngster and now will be representing Canada, and Promise David, who I believe represented Nigeria as a youngster and now will represent Canada. Again, this is exciting times for Canada when you have players who could potentially commit to multiple countries, and they're committing to us. They're committing to us. It's very exciting. So what can we expect from these two players? What can they bring to the squad?
Well, first off, the fact that there is already a David as a striker for Canada doesn't help the commentators, right? Because now we've got Jonathan and we've got Promise. So, you know, I'm not too sure on that one. But he's been playing brilliantly in Belgium. He's come from a long way very quickly to get to the position where probably he can come in off the bench and impact games for Jesse Marsch over the course of these next couple of games. Daniel Jebison might be a little bit more of a slow burner. He's coming into the squad. He can acclimatise. Certainly the World Cup is the end game with Daniel Jebison. Ferguson hasn't been playing as many minutes. He's in the Premier League, but he hasn't been getting the success that Promised David has been having in Belgium. But you're right, these players are coming in. It started with John Herdman recruiting players, like a Stefan Eustachio, who could have played for different countries, but committed to Canada. And then Jesse Marsch has been going hard after these players. He's been having meetings with them, conversations, presentations, that sort of thing, to try and get them to come and play for Canada and commit to this country. You know what helps? Winning.
Right,
a team that does well.
Yep.
And the fact that there's a home World Cup coming next year. So this will probably never be as good a time to recruit dual nationals as it is right now, knowing that this team is primed for success with young talent over the course of the next decade. Why would you not want to commit to Canada right now?
Can we just talk very briefly about the job Jesse Marsch has done in his brief time as Canadian coach, manager, whatever you want to call him, wherever you come from? Not since Jurgen Klopp for Liverpool have I seen such a beautiful fit of manager and club. And he's sticking up for us internationally in a political way. But you alluded to it as well. He brings that American aggressiveness in terms of trying to recruit players that could potentially help us.
I've known Jesse Marsch since 2011 when he came in as the CF Montreal head coach ahead of their first season in Major League Soccer there in 2012. And I've always been very impressed with the way that he has adapted to the situation he's in. He's gone and worked in various different countries. He's coached across the globe. He's coached some of the star players around the world as well, so he has that experience. But everywhere he goes, he has the same style of playing. He's very tuned into what he wants players to play. And I think that the way he wants to play is a perfect fit for the players that he's got with Canada. And often there's not a lot you can do with the group of players you've got. It's not like in a club game, a new manager comes in, I want to play a different way, I'm going to sell you lot and I'm going to buy all these other players. You can't do that at national level. So it's about finding the right fit. And I think when Canada Soccer went out and got Jesse Marsch, they got the right fit on and off the pitch. And I think off the pitch also matters right now because he's well aware that this team, this group of players heading towards a home World Cup, needs to sell themselves sometimes to people that aren't interested or as interested in the Canadian men's national team.
Right.
And Jesse Marsch not only is going to be perfect on the pitch, but he's an incredible salesman off it as well. And people are going to fall in love with Jesse Marsch just as they have done with some of these Canadian players.
Couldn't agree more. Last summer we called it the summer of soccer. What would you call it this summer, Luke?
Every summer is the summer of soccer. 26 will be the summer of... This is the summer of opportunity for Canada. And it starts in spring. Is it still spring? Winter?
I think so.
March?
Yeah.
It starts now, anyway.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity is here right now in the next week. This time next week, Canada could be lifting a trophy.
It's exciting.
At SoFi Stadium. What a venue. What an opportunity ahead. So the summer of opportunity starting in March.